This video is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. Every great team starts with a strong foundation, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect what matters most so you can focus on winning today while planning for tomorrow. Whether you're just starting out your journey, building your dynasty, or ready to retire like a champion, Western and Southern has the right play for your life stage. Visit westernsouthern.com to get your free life insurance quote today. Western and Southern, built to win. In the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, who come up one game short of winning the division and making the playoffs. It was a frustrating year for them. As we are recording this show here, John Harbaugh is still the head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think that changes. We will see, obviously, but a resolution here for the Baltimore Ravens.
If we're not getting into any coaching changes, which honestly, if they keep John Harbaugh, I think I would agree with it. There are rumors that there could be changes at the coordinator level, possibly with Todd Monken and Zach Orr. We will see where that goes. But on the field, this team's got to get better in the trenches. They were not as good in the trenches this year as they've been in past years. I'll start on the offensive side. I'm looking at these two guard spots. Okay, I love Tyler Linderbaum at center. Ronnie Stanley, obviously, at left tackle is great. Roger Rosengarten at right tackle is a solid player. But these two guard spots, this team wasn't as good in the run game consistently this year, and I think this was the reason. 26 in PFF grade from their guards, right? If you just take the guard units for every team, 26 in the league. And then the biggest problem to me, the pass rush. It just was non-existent this year. They even traded away Odafe Owe midseason for Alohi Gilman, which did make their secondary better, but their pass rush was non-existent, man. Their edge defenders tied for last in the league in PFF grade. As a team, the third worst pass rush grade in the league. Even in this Week 18 game they just played against the Steelers, 20% pressure rate, not good enough. They have to find a primetime pass rusher to make this defense better up front.
Yeah, I think that just in the trenches, you're right. I mean, just being a stronger team in the trenches, and I think what clouds a lot of this is the status of Nnamdi Madubuike, right? And his neck injury. He only played in, I think 2 games this season, and he went out with that neck injury, and it's been very cloudy ever since. You know, neck injuries are always really tricky. Anything with the spine, anything with the neck is really tough. Sometimes it could be, season-ending. Sometimes it could be career-ending. And I haven't heard that it's a career-ending thing for him yet, but very clearly with him not in the middle of the trenches for them, that defensive line was not good enough. And obviously they were close where they're a missed field goal away from still winning the division and make the playoffs. But to the standard that this organization has and where they want to go, I mean, it was below what they wanted to be this year. And I agree with you. I think the trenches were a big reason why. So understanding where you sit with Nnamdi Madubuike and his prognosis and what he is going to be in 2026, adjusting your defensive line additions around that, and then certainly the offensive line as well, getting a little bit more beef, some new beef maybe, and that's at those guard spots like you mentioned could really help this team. The Cincinnati Bengals. What's the resolution here for Cincinnati? This is a team that anytime that Joe Burrow is healthy, you feel good about them potentially outscoring anybody in the NFL. But Joe Burrow's been a little bit banged up, and it's just been frustrating for this team, I think, over the last couple of years, underperforming while Burrow is there. So how do they get back to that Super Bowl window that they had a handful of years ago?
Well, it's no news to anybody in this town that we're sitting in right now that the problem is defense, and more defense. This Bengals team finished the year 30th in run defense grade, 28th in pass rush grade, 24th in coverage grade. The only position unit on their entire defense I really feel kind of good about is the cornerback unit with DJ Turner and Dax Hill on the outside especially, but you're going to lose Trey Hendrickson this offseason. You got to find pass rushers. Shamar Stewart had a disappointing year. The linebacker level we talked about all season is where they struggled the most with 2 rookies starting, Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter. This team in general, Al Golden's got a big project in front of him. He's got to find a way, especially with this front 7, to find better players that can both stop the run, apply pressure to quarterbacks. I don't mind their secondary as much, but I don't think the front 7 helps them at all. They have to rebuild this front 7. They have to do it fast if they want to get back into playoff contention.
Yeah, and their offensive line played better down the stretch.
Yep.
And so I think that we've said this so many years in a row now that the Bengals have to be more committed to making the offensive line as good as it can be, but I think that they played better, and so I don't know if you don't touch the offensive line at all, right? I mean, if you have upgrades to be made, you're going to make them, but you're right. I mean, the defense was the big issue for this team. They've got to be able to stop the run better. They gave up the most rushing yards per game of any team in the NFL through all 18 weeks of the regular season. The spine of their defense, I think, was just a major issue for them when it came to defending the run. That means the interior defensive linemen, the inside linebackers, and the safeties that are behind them. Now, I understand the linebacker struggles because you're playing two young guys, and especially a rookie in Demetrius Knight, who I think they just decided, they're like, hey, we're going to take our lumps this year. We're going to play these young guys, and they're going to struggle, but they're going to learn, and they're going to be better the next year, especially when Joe Burrow got hurt. I think they were very committed to just giving the young guys a lot of playing time. So you hope that they're naturally going to be a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, drafting a run-stuffing defensive tackle, making sure that you're probably drafting another linebacker as well. You got to bring somebody in, is this a Quincy Williams team, right? Like, is it something like that where you're increasing the floor of this defense, where if you give Joe Burrow, a fully healthy Joe Burrow, for 17 games next year with this offense, I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a playoff team if you just make little changes to the defense where you just raise the floor of this defense a little bit. So that should be the resolution, is the defense, the floor of it cannot be as low as it was this year.
Quincy Williams, a good shot. I wonder if it might be in the Kobe Dean spot as well. That might be a fun one.
Ooh. Well, that's going to be tough to play in Cincinnati when he also plays for the Buccaneers. That's the only thing.
Good
that's
call.
That's
good
the
call.
Only,
hadn't thought of that.
Right,
one.
right.
Call.
That's
Yep.
the only tough part, is being able to double duty and be able to make both
That's what
games.
they're doing down there at LSU and Ole Miss.
That is true. That is true. I don't advise it, but they are doing it.
It's a strategy. It is
Viable, recommended. Wouldn't use those words.
Sustainable.
But is it a strategy? It is indeed.
It is confirmed to be a strategy. Yes.
The Cleveland Browns. No Kevin Stefanski anymore. Andrew Berry staying on as general manager. I think the resolution for this team kind of should have been the resolution last year, and that is figure out what the long-term outlook of the offensive line is, because I think it's a big issue for them. The way that their contracts are set up, they have the flexibility to move on from Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller and Ethan Posick, and those guys are free agents coming up. But if you do get a good amount of dead money that's with them. So I wonder if the plan is just to bring back whoever's going to be back. I mean, Joel Bitonio might end up retiring anyways, but this offensive line was bad this year. So are you going to run it back with the same guys that you had now? I mean, I don't think that the offensive line is good enough to win football games. And then the quarterback situation as well. If Kevin Stefanski was here for another year, I'd tell you, all right, well, maybe they're going to run it back with Shedeur and Gabriel, and they're going to kind of try and figure it out. You think a new head coach is going to want to roll in with a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick that he didn't select? I don't think so. So all of a sudden, quarterback now becomes a major part of this offseason for the Cleveland Browns as well with the new coach.
Oh, the only two guys on their entire offense I feel somewhat good about are Quinshon Judkins, and he's going to be coming off a major injury, and Harold Fannin, the tight end. They actually, aside from the two quarterbacks, had a very good rookie class, and obviously this defense is still very good. But you're right, in general, they just got to add talent to this offense. Now, there are reports that they may be preparing for Shedeur Sanders to be the starter next season as they build the offensive line and the receiving core. I don't think that is the worst move they could make, because to me, you've got 2 first-round picks. I got to come out of that first round with a receiver and an offensive tackle. That would be my goal. And as we know, the quarterback class at the top might be okay, but it's thin, and it's not going to be – one of those guys at the top is not going to get to Cleveland. I believe they're picking 6. I want to say it's number 6 in this draft. They just got to add talent all over the offense. They got to find a way to score points.
I agree with you. Have to. Has to be so much better than it was this past year, because the defense was good enough to win a lot more ball games than they did. Last team, Pittsburgh Steelers, winners of this division. What's the resolution for them going into 2026?
What does the next step look like? What in a lot of different ways. Number one, short term, this week even, are they going to win a playoff game for the first time since 2016? And at what point? I mean, I think winning the division, they're probably going to consider this a successful season.
For
right?
sure, yes.
They were a wild card last year and all that. But,
and I think that they should.
Right, especially with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback at 42 years old. But what is trying to get into real prime Super Bowl contention look like? Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, because they are in the postseason this year, but they're certainly not the team that I would pick to win the Super Bowl heading into to this bracket right now. And you go into the offseason with major questions. Quarterback. Who's your quarterback next year?
Right.
Is this Aaron Rodgers' last ride? What are we doing? Wide receiver. I know they've been getting guys like Scotty Miller and Adam Thielen to play well lately. who's actually the long-term pieces next to DK Metcalf? Okay, that's 2. Left tackle. I don't know if Broderick Jones is the answer, man. 3 years in, it has not been great. Left guard as well, Isaac Seumalo is a free agent. So I think when you look at this offense especially, they got to decide what the philosophy is going to be and who are the long-term pieces. It's great that with a bunch of mercenaries that they've made the postseason this year, but they're still going to enter the offseason with a lot of questions about what their offense is supposed to look like.
Yeah, I agree. The resolution is just figuring out. I think the first thing that you said, what's the next steps for this team? Now, perhaps they look at this and they say, what are you talking about next steps? We made the playoffs. Rodgers doesn't seem like he's imminently hanging them up. And you already talked about, a few minutes ago, if he's going to play anywhere, it's going to be in Pittsburgh. They're bringing back Mike Tomlin. They're not going to fire Mike Tomlin. They still got Cam Hayward. They've still got TJ Watt, so they still got those guys that they're bringing back. I kind of feel like they're just going to run it back next year. So the resolution is, I think, for a lot of the offensive line fixes, the wide receiver fixes, all that kinds of stuff. But I do think that the real resolution should probably be, okay, is Will Howard the guy, right? Like, do you have do behind the scenes, do they have a ton of confidence that Will Howard's going to be, he's stepping in next once Rodgers is gone? If that's the case, all right, well, I suppose you have your next guy in waiting. But if you don't, I think being serious with that has been something that Pittsburgh has never really wanted to do under Tomlin. And I guess I get it because he's never finished with a below 500 record. So I guess I can't totally fault them for that. But a team of mercenaries, I think, is a good way to put it, the way that you did there. Are they okay bringing this team of mercenaries back next year? Do they feel like this is repeatable, sustainable? I think that's answering that question, in my opinion, is kind of the resolution.
Is their quarterback somebody like a Kyler Murray on opening day next year instead,
right,
on a one-year deal as they've been doing the last couple? Trust me, it's been fun to watch, and Aaron Rodgers had a big moment in Week 18 against the Ravens. It was really, obviously, a very fun game to watch, and they won a division title on it. But there's still a ton of questions about the long-term just sustainability, especially on offense for this team.
Everyone's got takes. Numbers have truth. And the truth is, most people are betting with emotion. Sportsbooks feed on it. TikTok gurus sell it. The hype machine runs on it. That's how you lose. PFF is different. You're betting with winning data. The same data trusted by all 32 NFL teams and the sharpest minds in the game. PFF betting tools take every prop, every matchup, every angle, and run them through our custom models. Built on the best football data in the world. What comes back is your edge. Simple, sharp, and built to win. Want to go deeper? PFF puts a pro-level analytics department in your hands, giving you the same insights teams use to find every advantage. Build your game plan with matchup analysis. Project every snap, every matchup, and every edge before kickoff. Because the smartest plays start long before Sunday. Hit rates show how a player performs against their prop and against defenses built the same way. It's the data that gives you real confidence in every pick. Next, Key Insights translates PFF data into the story behind every matchup, giving you the why that powers your bets. From coverage schemes to defensive looks, it's the context that turns raw numbers into winning decisions. When you're ready to take action, filter through every prop on the market and focus on the opportunities that matter, by game, matchup, or value. Then, shop for the best available line in your area and tap your book of choice to place the bet instantly. Everyone's got takes, but now you've got truth. Bet with data, win with PFF.